We're about to do something different here on 9 News. We're telling a story from a personal point of view.
It's the story of a crime that took 7 decades to go to court. A crime that the I-Team's Hagit Lamour tells us she's been following all her life.
You know, every little girl has pictures of her grandparents, their home. I only had stories. What you may have studied in history class was my family heritage. But recently, my dad did something very courageous that brought those old stories to life. I went with him and took pictures for our family, personal pictures I want to share with you. This is the story of the family I never got to meet, of a crime almost 70 years ago that's finally been brought to at least some level of justice.
Menachem Lamour is about to take a trip back in time. A trip back in history to a time most would rather forget.
I lost my father, I lost my mother, I lost my brother, and I lost my childhood.
A trip that will lead him back to Germany to avenge the past.
Nobody would believe that something like this would happen, but we all were wrong.
All my life, I've heard about September 1939, the year Nazi soldiers invaded my dad's hometown in Poland when he was just 8 years old. They took my grandfather's factory and then his life.
We buried him in the Jewish cemetery.
How was your mother after that?
She was broken.
They hid as Dad showed my mother and me on a trip back to the ghetto, up these stairs, behind this door, in the attic. Outside, German soldiers were on the hunt. His mother begged an uncle to smuggle him to a safer place.
And he took me, and that's the last time when I saw my mother. We just hugged each other, and no, we just believed that we would see each other, but nobody was sure about it.
Days later, the Nazis found the hiding place and sent his mother and one brother to the Treblinka concentration camp. Now, stones mark the 800,000 who died in gas chambers here.
Today, I don't remember exactly how my mother looked. It's 65 years.
From age 9, he had to survive in the ghetto, dodging daily roundups by German soldiers. He'd pick up their cigarette butts to sell for scraps of bread. He got a job working for the Germans, painting officers' quarters. But in the end, the Germans put him on a cattle car train to the Buchenwald labor camp, where American soldiers liberated him in April of '45.
This was one of the happiest days, and that's, I somehow celebrate my second birthday on April 11, because this was a day, if they wouldn't come, I don't know how long I would last over there in Buchenwald.
But it was his time in the ghetto that would send him back to Germany now.
This train goes to Terminal 1.
9 years ago, the German parliament passed a law to pay those who worked for them in the ghetto Social Security benefits. But like the majority still alive who applied, my father repeatedly was denied. Rather than give up, he asked for a trial.
I think that they owe me this, at least this. I don't want they can't repay me for nothing, but at least this, I think that they owe me.
And so my brother and I accompanied my dad, now 75, as he traveled to Germany to face his past.
It's just something that I have to do, just to make an end to it.
We're all set then.
From Frankfurt, we drove to Hamburg, where he prepared to meet his attorney for the first time.
So let's see.
That's from Buchenwald.
She tells him he's the first American to come here for his trial before the judge in Hamburg. She says 95% of cases so far have lost, but she will fight as long as he will.
I go to the Supreme Court, go forward and backward. I don't mind. This is something to be fulfilled.
The night before his trial, Dad looks over documents he'd kept more than half a century.
This is a release from Buchenwald.
How old is this piece of paper?
This is from 1945.
The next day, he walks up to the court building, nervous but resolute.
I am ready. I want to believe that today people are different. Like Germany changed, you know, it's rebuilt a new Germany. I hope that the people of Germany are also more understanding now and learn from their mistakes not to make them again against anybody, not just Jews, but against anybody.
And there, after almost 70 years, he finds his name outside the courtroom. We couldn't tape the proceedings, but the result astounded and thrilled his attorney.
Are you saying he won?
He won.
Oh, for sure. 100%. Without him, I don't think that it would have gone through.
He established a precedent today, did he not?
Of course, of course. You can imagine how many are still dependent
Waiting.
and waiting and waiting and dying.
I feel good because it's really, as Simona said, it's a just law, and I am fighting for justice always.
Back home, my mother rushes to greet him. They've rarely been apart in 52 years.
It made me very proud because he did something that nobody could do. Nobody would have the guts to do. It was very courageous. It will make a difference to other people, and people will know that justice prevails.
And now others can use this case in their fight too. And I want to thank Hebrew Union College for letting me shoot a part of that story there.
Well, what a gift you were able to give to your dad to go with him.
It was a
certainly
gift,
that helped.
and to our children following us. It was a really beautiful family moment.
Thank you for sharing your story.
It was a beautiful story.
Thank you.